Hey, Fam Jam members, we're doing another planetary review. This time we're going to do one that is a little bit more fun to talk about, and that is the planet of Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet, right? So let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius and the ninth house in your birth chart. So when you have Jupiter in the sign of it also is a co-ruler of Pisces and the 12th house. So it fully rules Sagittarius and the ninth house, and it is a co-ruler of Pisces. Okay, it joins Neptune, all right, for Pisces in the 12th house. So if you have Jupiter in the sign of Sagittarius or Pisces in your chart, it is considered in domicile and it is operating at its strongest. Okay, it is in detriment in the sign of Gemini or Virgo. So it's still operating for you, but a little bit weaker. But what's odd about Jupiter and Gemini, for some reason, Jupiter still tends to operate very well with Gemini. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not the only astrologer that says that, okay? But at any rate, Jupiter is associated with expansion. Think large. Okay. It is the largest planet and it is visible to the naked eye. Jupiter rules the following areas: morality, ethics, gratitude, wisdom, optimism, hope, honor, the law, integrity, the higher self, philosophy, spirituality, purpose, faith, abundance, opportunity, luck, fate, growth, universities, higher level learning, long distance travel, foreign lands and foreign cultures, and destiny. Jupiter is about real faith or belief, not religion and rules, but what you really believe in your heart and soul. Jupiter is literally where luck, opportunity, and our own actions come together and work together to bring about fortuitous opportunities in our lives. Strong Jupiter energy in a person's chart can be associated with somebody having a good sense of humor. They're usually generous. They have a lot of goodwill, optimistic. All right. They can be merciful. They show people grace. There's an overall belief with these folks that things will work out in their favor and for the best. Now, there is a shadow side of Jupiter, just like with any planet. There can be too much of a good thing, all right? So the shadow side of Jupiter can bring about blind optimism to the point of those rose-colored glasses that we sometimes talk about with Piscean or 12th house energy, all right? Also, over-idealization. Again, that's more on the Piscean side, but you can have aspects to Jupiter in your chart that lend themselves to this. Overindulgence, excess, complacency, because we start to take things for granted sometimes in the area that Jupiter is in our chart. Okay, we can. Laziness, because we feel like things come easy to us. Hedonism, and it can be associated with being arrogant or egotistical. So we have to be mindful of the shadow side of even a planet like Jupiter that is in general referred to as a benefic, all right? People with prominent Jupiter can actually gain weight and experience literal physical expansion, right? So let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter is named for the king of the gods in Roman mythology who happened to be called Jupiter. It's the equivalent of the Greek god Zeus. Its symbol refers to the first letter of the Greek spelling for Zeus. That's the symbol that you would see on your birth chart, that funky looking 4, okay, is where you see Jupiter on your birth chart. It's also known as Fortuna Major. All right. It's similar to the part of fortune. The part of fortune and Jupiter have a lot of similarities in a person's birth chart. Part of fortune is known as Fortuna, and it's kind of like a lesser version of Jupiter that's in your chart. So it's kind of like Jupiter Senior and Jupiter Junior, right? So at any rate, Jupiter is known as Fortuna Major, the greater benefic. Now, Venus is known as the lesser benefic, okay? Now, where Jupiter is in a person's chart is where they will have ease, success, luck, and opportunity. Jupiter orbits orbits the whole 12 zodiac signs in about a year. So it's about a year or so, give or take, in each sign, depending on retrogrades. The retrograde for Jupiter lasts about 4 months. Okay. Again, it is domicile in both Pisces and Sagittarius, and it is exalted in Cancer. So if you have Jupiter in Cancer, that it is also operating a little stronger. Okay. When Jupiter is in these signs, again, it's stronger. Jupiter is in its fall in Capricorn, so it's weakened there. And again, in detriment in Virgo and Gemini. All right. So let's talk about how Jupiter affects you depending on the house that it is in your chart. And if you don't know what house Jupiter is in your chart, then you might want to pause this video and go look. All right. We will go through all 12 houses for you. It does also matter what zodiac sign. So for example, I have Jupiter in the 12th house in the zodiac sign of Taurus. We're going to talk about houses today, but it is equally important what zodiac sign it's in. It is more important about the house, but it does also matter about the sign. So that being said, we're going to go through the all 12 houses real quick. Here we go. Give me 1 second. Got to juice up on the vape, folks. All right. And by the way, comment below and let me know the house and sign that Jupiter is in your chart. I'm so curious. But okay, here we go. First house. If you have Jupiter in the first house, you are seen as happy, kind, and generous, and you are probably perceived as having a great sense of humor. You probably come across to people as very optimistic, being a person that has a lot of faith in just the system and the way things are, the overall grand plan, not necessarily the government, right? But, just in the overall way of things and the way that they go. It's likely that if you have Jupiter in the first house, you are very strong in your moral compass and your convictions, strong principles. You're very well intended. Strong vitality. You may be athletic. You may enjoy outdoor sports. With Jupiter in the first house, there's a lot of opportunities for growth and expansion, including potential weight gain. All right. It's likely if you have Jupiter in your first house that you're a good leader and that you are inspirational to other people. Okay. Now, the downside of Jupiter in the first house can be being extravagant, gullible, over emotional, egotistical, self-indulgent, or lazy. All right. Fun fact, my daughter not only has Jupiter in her first house, it is literally conjunct her ascendant. So she's very strong in those Jupiterian traits. And because she's a Libra rising, that just meshes with that Venus energy and just really works to her favor. But at any rate, let's talk about Jupiter in the second house. This has to do with being lucky in money, gifts, material possessions. You are resourceful if you have Jupiter in the second house. It's likely that you have a lot of confidence in your ability to make money, and that actually works to your favor because that helps with law of attraction and manifestation. Jupiter in the second house means that you like creature comforts, and you probably have a pretty decent self-esteem depending on other things in the second house. Struggles of having Jupiter in the second house can be overindulgence, laziness, complacency. There can also be a desire for rich, sweet food and dessert with Jupiter in the second house. So a bit of a sweet tooth sometimes. Let's talk about Jupiter in the third. This is about the mind. So with Jupiter in the third, you are likely very forward thinking, intuitive, considerate, and you are a planner. In the third house, Jupiter expands and broadens your mind. So this gives you the ability to pick up things easily and quickly. So you're probably a fast learner, all right? Jupiter in the third gives people an insatiable curiosity and a desire to learn and a genuine desire and enjoyment of connecting with other people. You enjoy sharing ideas and you're able to see the big picture. Okay. As such, it's likely that people come to you for advice. You probably have a very deep interest in other people, and you probably put people at ease in social settings. All right. You're probably well liked, especially by siblings, neighbors, relatives. With Jupiter in the third house, there can be mental restlessness. Okay. Which is why career paths involving physical movement are sometimes popular with people with this placement, okay, and helpful, okay? There can be other struggles here, being scattered energetically, being impractical or self-satisfied. Your mind thinks in broad terms with this placement as opposed to details, all right? So it's that can be a very nice enmeshing of Sagittarian and Gemini energy. Gemini can be more into the details and the minutia and the trivial information. Sagittarius is a little bit more able to assimilate and make sense of that information and make it more useful. So they're more big picture than that Gemini energy. So there you go. Jupiter in the fourth gives you a strong intuition. And that's likely something that you pay close attention to. You are very warm in your connections with people. You have a high value on family and close loved ones. You are generous. You are hospitable, particularly in your home. You may be patriotic. This can sometimes mean that you come from a large or a wealthy family, and can mean that you have a large home. This placement can also mean that you dream of wanting a large home. Okay. Your parents may have had a strong faith that they shared with you. There can be strong inheritance with this placement. Okay. Heritage as well in the family. Problems that you want to avoid are becoming ostentatious or self-indulgent. All right. The fifth house speaks to being generous, cheerful, playful, and warm, especially with children and in romance. You tend to have luck with romance. You're known for creativity, entertainment, children, fun, and games. You have not forgotten what it is to keep the childlike nature and the playful nature within yourself as well. It's likely that you're very gifted at teaching others, okay, because you're more patient and you have a love for learning and seeing other people learn. This placement can speak to having quite a few children. Jupiter in the sixth house means that you have high principles and morals when it comes to your business dealings with others, particularly in the workplace. You believe that everyone should be treated equally and with respect and fairly. You're willing to miss out on opportunities in the short term in order to build faith and rapport with other people, knowing that this will lead to more long-term opportunities. You generally probably enjoy your daily work that you do, and you enjoy serving others. There's something that you probably gain from that's inherent and intrinsic. This placement indicates good health, provided that the person with this placement does not live in an overindulgent or extravagant way. It's likely you are seen as very helpful in the workplace and dependable. with a sense of loyalty to your employer, your coworkers, your workplace. You foster cooperation and goodwill in the workplace, possibly even sometimes the company cheerleader and who people come to for encouragement. Jupiter in your seventh house has to do with one-on-one partnerships, and that means it's very important to you. You find close partnerships very rewarding. You believe in fairness and balance and equal give and take. You're very skilled at resolving conflicts with this placement, all right? You may have luck with legal matters as well. You may find great success in partnerships, both business and personal. You are likely one to show a lot of charm and grace in reaching your goals. Relating as equals is super important to you. It's likely that you will find wealth through marriage or partnerships. So this placement lends itself to marrying money, right? Or partnering up with people who are more affluent or more, rich than you are. Now, when this is poorly aspected, Jupiter in the seventh can mean that you have a partner that is lazy, self-indulgent, arrogant, immoral, extravagant, opinionated, complacent, wasteful. Okay. So Jupiter in the eighth. Here we go with the scorpionic influence. Now, Jupiter in the eighth is interesting. Give me a second. We're retanking up for the last 5 houses, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? So Jupiter in the eighth is an interesting placement. Jupiter in the eighth means that you are gifted at research, investigation, and strategy. You have a lot of luck finding things out. You find that it is very important to get to the root of any problem. You have this strong instinct, okay? And that instinctual feel, you feel intuitively like if you'll dig hard enough, you will find the answers you need. You like solving mysteries and other complicated problems. You're very giving to your partner, both emotionally, sexually, and materially. You are not easily shocked by taboos or the macabre. You may have financial gain through marriage as well, through partnerships or inheritances. You may prosper through the use of other people's money. So it would not be uncommon to see people like bankers, investment bankers, stockbrokers, things like that, accountants, people in finance with Jupiter in the eighth, right? People who inherit a lot of money, right, as well. So Jupiter in the ninth, that is the Sagittarius house. So Jupiter times Jupiter, right? There's an endless thirst for knowledge and wisdom here. You're philosophical, broad-minded, open-minded, optimistic, considerate, deep thinker. And you enjoy sharing this wisdom with other people. You can become a bit fanatical about certain things, okay? You may be a bit of a prophet and have a strong intuition. This can speak to a little bit of that shaman energy that we see with that Sagittarian influence, all right? Jupiter in the ninth gives you sound judgment and vivid dreams. Freedom is very important when you have Jupiter in the ninth, and you have the need to express yourself, okay? You're very inspirational to others. You probably find success when you travel, when you pursue higher education, teaching, sports, publishing, and foreign cultures. Now, there are challenges on this as well. Becoming dogmatic in your beliefs, or oddly, a total absence of faith, okay, is some of the shadow aspects that can exist with this placement. Jupiter in the 10th has to do with career and achievements and reputation. So this speaks to being a natural leader. And you have a winning, charming, and kind approach in your leadership style. People likely see you as lucky in career and business. You have a natural ability to excel, and if others help you, it's likely your winning attitude that has prompted them to help you. This placement speaks to you being ethical, mature, resourceful, especially in your career and achievements. It's likely you're going to be successful, honored, and have a lot of notoriety in your profession and or your community. You place a lot of value on achievements, manifestation, and your reputation, as well as those who take responsibility for their lives. Position and status are likely important parts of your life. You are probably congenial and generous. All right. There's probably a magnetism to your personality. All right. People likely have faith in you that you will not let them down. You have a strong sense of responsibility around your career, personal achievement, and keeping your word. You can be very persuasive to others when it comes to your ideas, long-range plans, and visions. Jupiter in the 10th and Jupiter in the 11th would be where we would look for popularity and or fame placements. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be famous. There can be other things that are there that affect things, but we would look for this as one indication of success, fame, being well known. And let's talk about Jupiter in the 11th. Okay. Your social life, very important to you. And you very much enjoy connecting with friends. You love being in teams, clubs, other groups in the community. You probably have some influential friends that are affluent, and they probably help you from time to time. Your friends are probably very loyal and devoted to you as well. And you may attract a variety of friends from a variety of cultures, backgrounds, ethnicities. You are very altruistic, very benevolent, very generous. You value people, and you also value your personal freedom. You are very open-minded when it comes to new ideas, methods. You're progressive, and you have a high tolerance level. You're passionate, and you are a humanitarian at heart. And you are probably philanthropic. It's likely that you are popular and you can organize and plan group activities. The challenges associated with Jupiter in the 11th, overindulgence, over extravagance. Okay. So be mindful of that. And then let's go to the last house. Jupiter in the 12th is so interesting because we talk about the 12th house. It's kind of like it's underneath everything. The 12th house is the basement and it's hidden. And often we don't get to the energies of the planets in the 12th house until later in life. Okay. But Jupiter nonetheless is very interesting in the 12th house. It is called the guardian angel placement. And the reason is because we don't find it until late in life. And many times people with heavy 12th house energy in their chart are on a self-destruct mode for the majority of their life until they are older. Okay. With Jupiter in the 12th house, it is if something comes along and saves you just in the nick of time. Probably due to an inborn faith that you have in the divine. And again, that's why it's called the guardian angel placement. So it can be a person, it can be an event, right? And so at any rate, with Jupiter in the 12th, your pleasure is in solitude, working alone, meditation, and spirituality. That's where you find your happiness and your solace. That is where you treat yourself. You are rejuvenated with all things spiritual, particularly in solitude. You are merciful, you are generous, and you often help people anonymously. You are benevolent and you have a great faith in the future. You have a love of humanity and a deep desire to help others. You experience success in a quiet, unassuming manner in middle life or later, as I said. Challenges with this placement include being unrealistic, looking through rose-colored glasses, over idealistic, okay? So it's very important if you have Jupiter in the 12th that you fully think through ideas before carrying them out to make sure that they make sense and that you've thought through everything that could happen one way or the other, and that it is a practical, realistic path that you're about to take, okay? And that, as I said, is where my Jupiter is, in the 12th house. So at any rate, that breaks down Jupiter in a nutshell. I hope this has been helpful to you guys. Thank you guys so much for being Fam Jam members. Comment below and let me know if you enjoy these videos about the planets, all right? And let me know what planet you want me to do next. Just for a recap, I have done Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, who else have I done? Uranus. I think that's the ones I've done. And now we've done Jupiter. So we lack Venus, we lack Mars, Mercury, the sun, and the moon. Okay. And we can also do the other major placements that I like to look at in the chart. We can do Chiron, and I think I will. Chiron's very important. Black Moon Lilith is very important. The part of fortune and the vertex, those are all very important. We might do the midheavens as well. I like doing those. Okay. So just let me know what you would like to do next. All right. Love you guys to the moon and back. Thank you so much, Team Fam Jam, for your constant and continuing support of the cottage. Bye, y'all.